So we all know that the first thing you do once you get away from the grumble is click on the red button, which shows you the first code. It's pretty much impossible to tell because of the direction that anchor A is in, but the dish actually points in the direction of the next anchor.
Do you have Fortnite downloaded yet?
No.
Fuck.
Oh, my friend made that noise, not the button. Anyways, you can see a lot more clearly here how the dish points towards the next anchor. This is probably one of the most important things since the beeping can be pretty confusing. I think we all know how annoying grumbles can be because they are unbelievably fast and it seems like there's no way to predict them or slow them down. They're actually supposed to throw you when they first get you, but 90% of the time they just don't do that. As I was saying before, it feels like there's no way to slow them down, but there actually is. You'll probably feel like an idiot if you didn't think of it before. I feel like the main reason people don't know that grumbles are slowed down by flashlights is because flashlights are so hard to come by in the mines. Although flashlights slow down grumbles, your options are probably a lot more limited than you think. The strap light doesn't slow them down, the laser pointer doesn't slow them down, and the lighter isn't even viable. So that leaves us with just the flashlight and the bulk light. Also, as you could see with the flashlight and bulk light, grumbles squint when they're being slowed down. Now let's get into the most confusing part, which is the map. I'm going to be using a map made by RelevantAd2788, which totally sounds like an automated Microsoft username. I'm going to be showing important parts of the map by comparing them to what you'll see in the actual game versus what you see in the map. I'm going to start by taking the right path that has the pond. This area is completely safe to enter until you pass the boarded up doorway that the minecart breaks. The doorway in this hallway has a chance to spawn one of the anchors, which is definitely a more ideal spawn point. Grumbles are able to peek into this room, but if you're doing the code, they can't touch you through the big hole in the back.
So for the right side of the map, if you are on anchor C and it's to the right, then that means it'll be, one of these two, which are generally, they look like they'd be in the same spot. But
the map here makes it look like since you can come out of here, you could go in through here, but you actually have to go around in through this doorway. And then the one on the far right, you have to exit the cave and go on this balcony and then go into a crawl space, and you're completely safe over here.
If you have glow sticks, it'll make it a bit more easy to get back because it's not that easy even with a map to remember the directions. It's easy to get disoriented.
The left side of the map will be immediately dangerous because grumbles can come right up to the edge of the path. I'm only going to be showing you the anchor that you will most likely be having trouble with. The other two should be easy enough for you to get to by yourself, and I don't want to make it insanely easy because this is still fun if you know how to do it. When you're traversing through the nest, you should always check both ways, just like when you cross in the road, because these guys can be so unpredictable, like you can't hear them when they're right next to you sometimes. You can see here I'm simply following the beeping sound until I find the room. Alright, I'm pausing the video here because I literally looked at this for like a millisecond. When you see this room that has all the vines, you're probably going to think you need the scissors, but you actually don't at all because there's a crawl space right outside to get in. You can see here I was completely lost because the crawl space is literally right outside of the door almost, and I walked away completely, but I eventually found it. Any anchor that has a sticky note with a plus or a minus number, you just add that to the actual code itself. So that means that this code would be 021. Let's see if I get it. 4. Be careful whenever you're exiting this crawl space because it's super hard to tell what's going to be next to you when you come out, and usually there's a grumble that patrols this area. For the most part, following a grumble is completely safe unless they stop and start turning around. If they do turn around, make sure you immediately look for a hiding spot while shining your light at them to slow them down.
So the path I just took is straight this way, then left through this tunnel, and then right up into this crawl space. If the radar is pointing straight this way, then instead of taking a right, you'll take another left where these minecarts are, and it'll either be through here or through there. And those are pretty easy. They're about the same distance, they're just less confusing because there's no vines. This little brown part right here is wooden boards that have to be broken with a minecart, but other than that, that's pretty much it for the bottom floor.
Wow.
When I click on the button here, you can see that the radar dish obviously is pointing up, which means that it's going to be on the second floor. You can see here that sometimes doors are covered by rocks, so you have to go find a different door that leads up. This is because the second floor only has 2 entrances, and there are 4 doors that would have stairs. But it shouldn't be too much of an issue. It might just make it take longer to get up. If you have to go up the stairs on the opposite side of where the anchor is, make sure you try to cross the bridge that's on the top. Usually that bridge will lead to another staircase that will lead to the correct side. This side of the map is especially confusing because of how much looping you have to do if you don't have the scissors. If you have a D anchor on this side, the first thing you should do is walk past those vines and see if you can hear the beeping from the closer one. If not, then you know that you're going to have to go to the far back and go left. Didn't scare me.
So that might have been a little bit confusing, but what I was saying is that you should go past this D anchor and listen for the beeping, and if you don't hear it up and to your right, then you have to go past it and then look at this one, because it should be that.
Alright, the next and final zone I'm going to be talking about is the left side of the upper floor, and really we're only going to be talking about the C anchor because it is probably the most dangerous one. So I'm going to be calling it the C of death and destruction in a horror. I'm going to be showing a full, mostly unedited clip of me getting it because it also shows how to fend off grumblers while you're doing this. I'm going to have the map up in the corner, and it's going to be updating my location every so often in case you get confused. So you can see here the first thing that happens is a grumbler comes from the right. So I go through to the Sea of Death and Destruction and Horror, but then there's another grumbler there. So I shine my light and squeeze back through, and I realize that one's looking the other way. So I start going down the hallway to get away from them. And as I get to the end, they both come at the same time and I get stuck on this light, so I get thrown by one of them. And then they turn around, which is just so lucky. So after I recover from that horrifying experience, I go back to the Sea of Destruction and Horror and whatever the hell I called it. And then I immediately start being chased by another grumbler, so I have to leave again. After shining my light at him a little bit, I start looking for a hiding spot immediately. Now, once I realize that this is a dead end, I wait because I know he's going to turn away and go down the hallway. I wait for him to pass the locker, and then I immediately get out and start leaving before he turns around. So now I'm pretty sure that I have enough time, but this guy decides that I don't. While I'm waiting for this guy to pass by, I throw a glow stick over in this corner because I'm scared about some coming through, but they can't actually come through there. I also throw a glow stick over that way because I'll be able to see their faces better if they're coming down, and now I have enough time. But I have to do the math in my head before I put it in, so let's see if I do it right. 3. So you can see that a good strategy for avoiding grumblers when there isn't more than one is bouncing in between that door. But if there are 2, then good luck. It seems like being in the middle of the door might keep you safe, but I probably wouldn't trust it. So you can see this next anchor is also on the second floor. Oh, I didn't click it. Okay, you can see this next anchor is also on the second floor, and it just so happens to be D. The easiest way to find this D anchor is to go the same way we went to find the Sea of Death and Destruction in horror.
Let's go find 7.
7, 6. 7, 6, 3, 7. Slow down! You bench. Oh, f you, bro.